Ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary folk of all ages, welcome to Speed Gaming. I believe Speed Gaming 2.
Yes.
I am Leoria, and I'm joined in the booth today for this co-op all dungeons of League by Jesse, aka Radical Sniper 99.
Hello. Yeah, the last day of co-op week. Can you believe it?
No, I kind of can't. Like, it feels like it's flown by. It's definitely been a blur of a week, but there's been a lot of fantastic matches. I would say, safe to say, some upsets. It's been great. It's been a very, very exciting week so far to start off our League Season 5.
Yeah, and we've still got plenty of matches the rest of today, but as per, we have a matchup between the Perfect Unadulterated Gaming Squad, or PUGS. We've got Daaanty and Eriror, and on the other side, we got Shacktool's Digging Game with AceZero and Azder.
Yeah, and game 2 here for our two teams. We had a win on Pug's side in game 1. I have to give some shout out here. Are they using two different Pug sprites, like just barely different colors, Daaanty and Eriror? Because that's amazing.
I will say, Aries looks a little grayer than what I'm used to for the Pug.
Okay, so maybe there's some.
And chat's saying that there's apparently now a dark Pug.
Snap, that's kind of amazing. All right. Well, as we would come to expect from co-op run, we have a bit of split of starts between the two partners of each team. AceZero going for a Houlihan start, it looks like, while Azder is farming bombs at south of Grove and will be hitting up CAC from the south.
Gotta say, that bomb luck, those 50-50 is really nice to go along with the 50 rupees. Although
agreed.
bush crabs for Eriror also paying out nicely. Was that a bottle?
I think it was either a bottle with a red goo or a moon pearl, and I won't lie, I'm not.
Oh, that was a moon pearl.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, I mean, in a way, that's good good news, because early boots.
Yeah, I mean, early boots, we know that it's, we have to beat Agate anyway, so we're gonna see it.
Yeah.
I will say the question is, looking at the route that Shacktool's taking, who visits Lumberjack?
I mean, you would hope that it would be Azder, like, maybe ending his route up that way, but
I'd almost say, like, if I was in those shoes, like, I drop down to get the thief drop down and I save and quit, I'm not walking out a thief.
Right. Which is completely understandable. And Daaanty moving straight to South Shore, pulling the ice rod from the Sunken Treasure. Going to head over to Agina as well. I like this.
Yeah, this one's always a... I hate this check, always. And Desert Ledge is nothing this time either. Quick map check. We've got a vanilla green pendant, and it looks like 2 regular crystals at Desert and Hera.
Now, this is good information for sure. We do have our first sword as well, so first piece of the puzzle for good old Moon Pearl.
And, I said that I wasn't sure when AceZero hits it. AceZero did continue up to it. So,
yeah,
no loss of info.
AceZero is like they're kind of...
Oh, we have boots.
A pincer attack. Oh, okay then.
Was that the Agina? Yeah.
Oh boy.
Very nice Agina. And we've got Master Sword. on Aries' side.
Missing a fire source of some kind, lamp to put it in logic, but I would be shocked if our runners today could not handle doing fire rod.
Yeah, let's just not think about no fire just because that would be painful at low health.
Even
at
this
4 hearts.
Low of health. Yeah, 4 hearts, even with blue mail, like, ugh. It's not cute. But I would say likely we're going to be seeing something over at Mini Moldorm Cave. I'll be curious to see if Azder goes to Agina as well and pulls those boots, or if he will chase the density.
I mean, you don't have a ton of money yet, and I was about to say, like, you're going to the left to get the ice rod. You're gonna just continue, and I was completely wrong there. So maybe the flippers is a tough thing to go against there. Like, you have them, you're thinking, I want to do the flipper checks even without Zora money.
True. Although, because Azder did the southern portion of CAC, or came from the south for CAC, AceZero will have a very fast time through CAC here. Just grabbing what he needs and then moving on from there.
And this is a pretty lackluster Mini Moldorm Cave. Besides that, that's actually really good. Leo, you know, that's a... How's it looking for a go beat Aga and then immediately go get your Pearl, only to go back into Dark World to head to West Dark World through the flipper to hookshot spot?
I mean, that's kind of what it's screaming right now, to be completely honest. But man, does it feel bad. Like, just having to double back and forth like that.
I mean, the other thing is, okay, there's our flute. Oh man, this lamp's buried.
I was gonna say, yeah, this is just pushing Shock Tool's digging game farther and farther away from those boots. It's possible you hit up Agina's cave with that flute.
Yeah, I love the fluting to Agina, if I've got it available. So that could be the play. At least to not delay.
Sorry.
No. And we do see that Lake Hylia was nothing. Did we get a hobo check on Shack Tool?
I do not believe so. I'm pretty sure we saw Azder just jump straight in and go straight to Waterfall Ferry. Yeah, we do see Eri going ahead to get the those boots as well over on the PUGS side. And Azder going to activate that flute, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, each team getting a little bit of mobility, both of their own, you know, different value. I don't think one is a ton better or worse than the other, although Eri is going to do the rest of the front of Escape now.
I do like this. If you find Lamp here in these first 3 checks, you just death warp and go. You know, you chase that Moon Pearl as quickly as you can. Especially since Daaanty now has that information regarding the hook shot, and they know that they have West Dark World.
Right. Well, it is looking like the lamp potentially on Death Mountain, although Azder's going to give us Saha, and I don't know, I don't think we're getting an Eastern Dip. That seems a little bit surprising, but maybe the green pendant sends you there a little bit.
It's such a difficult decision because it's all dungeons, right? Okay, we've got Flute. We're not going into Eastern.
No, but we do get the Quake Medallion out of the Boomerang chest on Aries' side.
That could be a thing, potentially, especially with how deep into... how deep into Escape that is.
We also get the Hobo check on Daanty's side. Just a heart container. So it looks
Alright,
like
so
Daanty's
nothing
probably
yet.
going to be getting the flute momentarily.
Yeah, nothing on front of escape side. Uh-oh. Oh no, Eri.
Yeah, no way we're getting that done now.
Nope. That was definitely a goof on Eri's side. I am pretty certain that he had wanted to use that to death warp, but unfortunately that dash cancel just didn't happen fast enough.
But Daaanty gets his flute, and gotta assume he'll be on the mountain soon to join AceZero. But Azder's gonna get his boots as well soon, so pretty much all evened up. Nothing too divergent yet. They're doing a good job covering each other's tracks as teams. So
Yeah, I'll be curious to see if AceZero just immediately flutes to...
yeah, I was thinking like the information's there. Maybe AceZero is going to continue just to get the spec rock checks and then flute away to it. I thought maybe we would see an immediate flute because like the timing was perfect. AceZero turns in the you turn in old man, like you flute immediately. I feel like that's kind of like what's the loss there?
Right. And you have the save and quit back to the old man. Hey, there's your lamp right there. On Spec Rock. So not even East Death Mountain. Just straight up right here on Spec Rock Cave. Now I want to point out, Eri is making the Eastern dip.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, I'd say. You know, if there's something of value here, like, do you get a glove? Do you get a hammer? Do you get a fire rod? Maybe something to make the West Dark World a little better? Because, like, right after this, okay, big money's good.
Big Money's pretty good for Eri, especially because he has not gotten over to
Yeah, he's our
Waterfall yet.
last runner to go get flute, so he's actually going to be our only runner able to check Zora.
This is, yeah, pretty great in that sense. All right, something tells me, though, we're going to see a nice, as much as we've had some really nice divergence, I think we're going to have some convergence here fairly shortly with our runners hitting up Aga Tower pretty close to together.
Okay, now Eri completely bails on Eastern right after getting the info. Or doesn't even have the info, actually, about the lamp, so...
No, but I think he knows that it's a vanilla big key. And he got all the items. And so because of those two things, why keep going when you know you're going to get the lamp and you can beat this later with Pod?
Oh. Pointed out in chat, Elaine mentioning, it was all 3 items, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've got a vanilla big key, so he's just like, I'm not going to get that now.
Yeah, why bother? Alright, hook shot, get.
Unfortunately, the money here is just not enough.
No. I mean, if he wanted to, he might be able to do some shenaniganery with some boots Houlihan setup with the flute.
Yeah, the rarely seen.
Yeah. But oof,
yeah, if you haven't seen that one, there's a way to set that up over by the Death Mountain Ascent Cave. You bonk off a tree above you, and it kind of does enough to mess up your pixel to work in a Houlihan. But yeah, not a fun one to do.
No.
But there's our first glove over in Paradox 5.
Well, now Daaanty could Houlihan if he really wanted to. But no, at this point,
and we also got a third sword, it looks like, on AceZero's side and Daanty's. I missed that sword, but I just saw it as he was running through Spiral here.
Oh, imagine Houlihaning when you have a gold bee, by the way. Please.
Or that, yeah.
Alright. Azder finishing up front of escape is taking that death warp.
Did remember to also ditch the fairy.
Yes.
Now here's an interesting question. I want to pose. If you're Eri, are you getting Tempered Sword? Because like, Azder's doing Aga Tower without the Tempered Sword or the glove, and I'd say those two things alone might be worth your time before being in Aga Tower.
It's tough. I could see either way. I mean, please just swag hover the lamp NBD.
Well, and he's leaving.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be that kid here for a second. Like, this is kind of Eri we're talking about as far as like being able to climb Aga Tower effectively and efficiently with literally the vanilla sword equipment.
What I'll say is, what also makes me curious now is what Daaanty got out of the back of Escape.
Right.
That cape combined with that glove that's bumper ledge.
Yeah.
So like for Daaanty, I'm thinking, I need to go West Dark World. Like, no matter what, I'm going West Dark World as soon as we hit. And I'd be very tempted in Eri's spot to just have said, you know what, I should have my glove and my cape.
That's a good point, but I'll say also, this can allow Eri to just go ahead and scout it out, and if it's something he knows he needs to get it, and if not, then, well, he skips it and he saves Daaanty that time.
Yeah. I mean, the other possibility here is, like, it becomes, hey, Eri, you're going to go into pod. Like, I think one runner probably does go, especially in the case for Shacktool right now. Like, both runners are pretty much the same point in Aga Tower right now.
Yeah, they are very, very neck and neck with each other.
Just a room separating the two of them.
And I want to say this Tempered is really giving Ace that advantage with the kill rooms in particular, just getting through them a lot quicker.
Yeah, it is a lot easier to take down red guards with a single spin, or even ball and chain with a single spin.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, as you're missing the hook speed, which is okay, but look, gives Ace just a little bit of at least visual aheadness there. Yeah, as I mentioned, some nice convergence here.
Yeah, there really wasn't much else to go do. Like, for Shacktool, I think the only checks they didn't really make were the back of Escape and Eastern. And of course, nobody checked Zora. So really, that kind of balances out the time difference between the teams. Is like, that's what was checked or not between the two.
Yeah, and honestly, these runners are hoping to never have to see Zora. Let's be real here. They're hoping that Zora is just dead forever. Yeah, that's a good point. For Shacktool, they did not have Hobo, I do not believe either. So
That's true. Luckily, Hobo for Shacktool was just a heart container, so not anything of major value. But we do have 3 runners fighting Aga right now simultaneously.
Yeah. And potentially a 4th. Oh, nope, just kidding. Azder is going to be out of this Aga fight before Daaanty gets in. Uh-oh.
I do know that before the race started, Azder had been mentioning a little bit of tech issues today, so hopefully isn't too prevalent, but do bear with us if anything does happen. But time to go get a pearl.
Yeah, absolutely. Rushing this pearl. I guess the question then becomes, we'll get Bonk Rocks as well, but will we see any East Death Mountain play, or will we just straight up see Azder go back into Dark World and head to either pod or west?
Yeah, especially because here comes that little bit of info, you know, about that cape from AceZero. So
yeah, so Ace knowing, hey, it's it's potential bumper ledge. I had to giggle at the fact that Aries,
that dark pug is
right.
light pug.
Yeah.
That would get way too confusing. It's very subtle. But into Dark World immediately for Azder, so not gonna worry about the glove or the cape at this point. We'll see if that means we're gonna get the pod play or also still West Dark World, and we are getting West Dark World.
Oh, Azder is gonna have to run back here though, because you don't have a glove yet, but you can still get over there with the flippers. You just hop down here and swim past this kind of tight squeeze of rocks here.
Yeah, this is always, you know, I think you see it so much, like, I think I mentioned this the other day, is that's like the most common question, I think, in like the main rando Discord even. How do I get to Dark World when I don't have a glove or a hammer?
Yep. And this is how. Alright, so all 4 runners have now acquired their moon pearls, and we are off to our Dark World shenanigans. Aerie making the pod play, as you suggested, gonna leave West Dark World to Daaanty, since Daaanty has that glove and that cape.
And what we saw was nothing on Bumper Ledge, so no loss here for, you know, Team Shack Tool. But Ace is going to join Azder, so both runners are heading west, although I think we're going to get Catfish first. Understandably so. And I do see Pendant TR, and what was that? Pendant Ice with Red Crystals at Swamp and Mire? Yep.
Yep, that's right. So, Pendant's at TR and Ice. 5-6 is Mire, and Swamp are watery, gross-ish kind of dungeons. Getting that treatment. You know, with it being all dungeons, I can't say that I disagree with the fact that, as far as I'm aware, Shack Tool's digging game has not done any map check in particular as far as Dark World.
Yeah, it's not this, you know, if this was just beat the game, it'd be one thing, but like, what's the big benefit with the map check, I guess, is always the question, you know. Maybe knowing the 5-6s. In this case, you know a pendant in TR, but the fact that Mire's not also a pendant kind of leaves it meaningless. Like, look at what we have equipment-wise and what that means for even a possible GT, like a medallion.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because we have Ice Rod already. That's not something we're going to have to hunt down. Oh no! After a really nice pod ledge hover, Aerie forgetting he had a berry.
Luckily, you know, only 4 hearts, right?
You know, true. Alright,
and yeah, so we've got bottle percent on Aries' side.
You know, that's always fun. But I believe with that information, both items for the front were on both sides. It was a bottle and then something irrelevant, but an item.
Yeah, so we've got a vanilla big key and Stalfos basement key, and Aries just gonna skip the Stalfos basement for now.
Yeah. By vanilla big key, like the vanilla big key chest is a small key.
Yeah.
Is what you, yeah. just for anybody who might be like confused about, wait, what? Yeah, no.
And there's our second glove down in the brewery, by the way. So
yeah, there we go. Mitts for Shock Tool's digging game there. And that actually kind of works out nicely for Azder, who has not done East Death Mountain yet. When he does eventually head that way, he'll be able to hit up East Death Mountain as well. Or, I'm sorry, Dark Death Mountain, forgive me.
are we going to see both members of Shack Tool actually full clear thieves now? Or at least attempt to? There's our bow.
There's our bow, and I am trying to remember if either of them dipped Eastern.
No, I don't think either of them did. Although...
I mean, we're seeing both of them go. I am not sure how I personally feel about this play.
It's a gamble.
It is.
Like, and I think it would have been fair for her to say, you know, Azder, go all the way to Height Cave and then go up Death Mountain. In this case, like...
Right.
And unfortunately, and that's the thing, is Eri's the one now in heading up the mountain without that glove. Like, this is an advantage for Shack Tool.
Yeah, absolutely is.
Like, at this point, I'd be like, yo, Azder, I think you should be on the mountain, get your mitts, and check DDM. And it's a little bit of a gamble here that something's in Thieves Town.
Well, and my other concern with this, too, is you haven't found the small key. There's only one more place it can be. And this could just be hammer-locked here. And so...
Yeah, I mean, you're hoping that the small key is locking itself.
You're hoping at this point for certain.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know you know my opinion on dipping Thieves Town without the hammer as it is. Like, I feel very, very Monka about dipping hammerless. And in this case, you know, it's...
You're not leaving yourself an out is the problem. Like, if this was you and I in a race, like, and it's not going to come back and be a problem, like, awesome for Shack Tool there. But like, that's one of those things is like, if you and I both are there, it's like, okay, one of us is going to beat it, the other one's gonna bail.
Right, we're gonna diverge so that if it ends up being something that's locked, it's not biting us later for certain. Now, obviously, it's not here, and I think we can both kind of agree that, you know, Thieves Town is one of the slowest dungeons because you have to do the entire dungeon just to beat the boss, right?
Exactly.
So, like, I get it, but also it's, you know, I guess it just depends on what as a team you decide.
But very nice full clear. Okay, so Daaanty and Eri both in the area now. Looks like Daaanty is going to go for the clear of Thieves. Eri is going to proceed. So this is kind of what we were saying as more a more conventional play.
Yeah, and again, it's just keeping with that divergence, getting your teammate as much information as possible while not overlapping.
Well, this is... Okay, I thought maybe AceZero was going up the mountain for DDM, but no, doesn't appear so. Okay, we're going to get the Meyer area check.
I like this as well. I like following these mitts pretty quickly here. I'm going to guess that AceZero is going to save the mountain for Azder to be able to go up and do with his mitts pickup. But we are going to be running out of time here.
Yeah, we did get a powder out of the shed. To Beer's point about dodging that bow, I don't hate it. Aries pretty much done all of Pod and Eastern at this point, so he knows those are just boss kills for him. I think he can wait until he's ready to just beat Thieves the first time. So I like. It seems like a gamble, but I think it actually makes a lot of sense in his position.
Yeah, I had totally even forgotten about the fact that, yeah, it was Eri who had cleared both. And there's our Fire Rod in Hype Cave, as well as another heart container. So a fairly nice setup here for Hype Cave, and Eri can flute to turn in the Smith and then head to fight a Mothula.
We also got the King's Tomb check on AceZero side. And yeah, I gotta believe, like, okay, so where are you going to, Azder? I feel like Mountain's the play.
Yeah, and called
yep.
it. And honestly, for AceZero, this makes a whole lot of sense too. You haven't dipped Eastern yet on your team. It's a green pendant. You have the ability to full clear it. You know, this makes sense. Take that bow over to Eastern. Azder hits up East Death Mountain and Dark Death Mountain. This is the split that we were talking about.
Smith's not paying out today. Just $20.
Yeah, just $20, but it could lead eventually to something being at Purple Chest. Not really something that I'm gonna say that these guys are going to be chasing. Purple Chest is kind of a gross check, honestly. Especially mirrorless at this point, like, meh.
I like that Daaanty was able to get that little bit of extra money. You know, getting that info from Aries saying, hey, there's a 300 here. You might want it.
Yeah, especially since they haven't still gotten to Zora at all here. Like, good little bit of cash, you never know.
Interesting question in chat about, you know, who's kind of in the lead right now. I wouldn't say anybody's got a lead yet. This is hard to determine, especially in a co-op. Overall, both teams are covering good ground. I will point out that it looks like Shack Tools covered a little bit more ground, a little more efficiently so far. So if I had to give a slight advantage, it might go there. But I wouldn't say a pure lead yet.
No, it's still so hard to say. You never know when a particular item could potentially come back to bite. And, you know, talking about these Dark Death Mountain checks, Super Buddy came with a book and an armor upgrade, so we're already kind of seeing these popping up here. That's a clearable desert for our runners. And blink if you miss it. Blink and you miss it. Moth fight on Aries' side.
Yeah, really nice. Samaria for Azder in Hookshot Cave.
Yeah,
so,
unfortunately, not
the books are big prize, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, because Samaria doesn't really give us much, and Bombo's for TR, so we have our medallion information. That Quake that we picked up in the front of Escape is worthless.
And here's the thing, the bigger piece here is Shack Tool is about to figure out what our next step is. Azder's going to get the desert play for that info, and then AceZero is going to get green pendant. Like, the two big things that could have something, we're about to hit both of them.
Yeah, very good point. Although Daaanty is not super far behind here, having just picked up his mail and book from Super Bunny, going to get his Samaria here. And
Yeah,
he has cape, so he can't do Spike Cave because there is no hammer. Never mind.
And yep, Eri doing Thieves Town here, gonna get his bow. So like it gives him an option to go and hit other things, but you know, Team Shack Tool definitely has a slight advantage here in terms of covering both their bases simultaneously. This is the importance of that little bit of timing, and it is not there on Saha. So we're gonna find something probably here in Desert, unless it's Ares play probably to Purple Chest after Thieves.
I mean, I think that that's the best case here. You know, you pick it up, you save and quit, you flute to 7, turn it in. That's a good point on that chat's bringing up about Ice Rod for Shock Tool.
Yeah, I would have thought at least one of them had to have drained the dam, right?
I thought so. I thought Azder did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that we saw Azder pick it up and then he walked to the right to Mini Moldorm Cave instead.
Yeah, because we remarked about that.
Yes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Shock Tool already has Ice Rod. I could totally be wrong, but I think so.
Like maybe AceZero skipped it.
For now, yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah, because that's exactly what it was. We remarked on the fact that he picked it up and then ended up leaving.
Yeah, because
we thought, back
like,
down and around.
When we saw Pugs do it, whichever Pug did it first went from Dam to Agina, and whichever member of Shack Tool went first went from Dam still to Mini Moldorm. So at least one does. I don't know if both.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. As you're confirming. There we go.
You know, I just thought about this. Could we have a potential required dip of ice soon? And it's looking more and more likely as, yeah, AceZero is heading to Palace of Darkness. We know there's not anything there to kind of help in terms of the logic right now, so...
Well, there's your mirror.
Okay.
So that does open up a series of checks here between Graveyard Ledge, K45, Bombos Tablet, but then you've also got Hera and Ether Tablet that this has opened up as well. Oh, and Checkerboard Cave. That is something else that I had honestly kind of forgotten.
Yeah, good little step here to make sure you don't forget it.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid saying that one, truth be told. I was trying to avoid bringing up first chest as well.
Honestly, if that's a possibility, like, that's with the Smith chain, and honestly, I think if I am Azder here, I do the Mountain first, take care of Ether Tablet, take care of Hera, and then worry about maybe Smith chain into Bombos and first chest of Swamp. Like, I think that's his last play.
Yeah, I agree. You hit that up at the end of a Smith chain, but follow your crystals for now. Although...
Just dungeons.
Although... Hear me out here. Hammer on Magic Bat.
Oh, Leo, why?
You have a mirror! You have the ability to do it!
I know, but that's always so gross. Nobody likes progression on mirror check.
No, but it's gonna happen anyway. There's progression on a mirror check no matter what.
No, progression's clearly an Ice Palace. Hammerless ice.
Ew. Gross, but also fair.
I mean, I say that, and like that's the most common like cross keys type thing to have happen, and we're not in cross keys today, so. But we are getting Azder up to Ether Tablet and Hera, so.
an Ether Tablet dropping us just a big 20. You know, another thought here. Zora is still a thing.
Yeah, that's just gonna sit forever is the problem. Like
Yeah.
you fully isolated
Well,
King Zora.
they have Catfish as well, right? Nobody has
Nope.
done Catfish.
Both teams have done
So,
Catfish.
oh, just kidding then. Then yeah, no, it's dead. Zora doesn't exist.
So it looks like we're gonna have two of our runners into Hera. Meanwhile, AceZero is still working out Pod. Eri getting his book. He knows at this point, like, it's looking pretty definitive. You need your mirror now. So
Yeah, and
he
I
is gonna
wonder if
work that first.
I wonder if we'll see him while Daaanty is taking care of Hera, if we're going to see Eri hitting up those other mirror checks, even though Eri's finished Smith Chain, you know, hitting up K45, hitting up Bombo's Tablet, Graveyard Ledge, even Magic Bat at this point. But Hera is such a quick dungeon that, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean, Daaanty will be done Hera before Eri even gets his mirrors, so like they'll have a plan of attack, and both items were in the petting zoo, so like, you know,
That
we're
is
done with
nice.
Hera.
Yeah.
This is a go modable Hera, like just wait.
Yeah, no, this is great information for, you know, for Eri and for AceZero. Like they can mirror and do it right before GT.
Yeah, I think the only drawback is you don't get the red rang.
Oh no. That was the sassiest oh no ever. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the that room with the big chest and that other chest is called Petting Zoo. The enemies are all like in little cages.
And you can walk in and you can pet them with your sword.
Yeah,
Or they pet you with their face.
yeah.
It doesn't feel good when they pet you with their face. Like it's not, no.
So, and at this point, really what we can say is there's been a bit of a swap. You know, some of those advantages I was talking about for Shack Tool, I don't want to say that it's definitely swapped, but it's evened out. So, like, as unsure as I was of who's got an advantage, I am less sure right now.
Yeah,
Because, like, what you're seeing is Shack Tool's digging game is now hitting those checks that we already saw from PUGS. And so, like, they're having to do a little bit of catch up. I will be curious to see if we get that powder check soon.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like after this, we've got to see Eri make his way over to those mirror checks.
Didn't even realize how free that red mail was either. Jeez. We are super protected for this seed. But there is another crystal, so we've got 3 dungeons for each member of PUGS right now, two dungeons for AceZero, and 3 dungeons for Azder. So pretty even across the board on our dungeon counts. Daaanty is going to get his 4th dungeon with the Eastern play, and it looks like Eri's just going to follow suit here. I think they're kind of counting on the answer being Green Pendant. We do know it's not the case, though. Yeah, so to kind of explain this, It's the Link to the Past Randomizer League. Right now, this is week 1, All Dungeons Co-op. What's happening is Daaanty and Eri are in a call together, and AceZero and Azder are in a call together. They're all playing the same seed. The goal is just to finish it as quickly as possible. It's co-op all dungeons, so in that voice call, they can tell their partner, hey, this is where the key is, this is where the item is, and just plan out a route together. The one thing they cannot do is they cannot watch each other's streams, so it is purely a vocal work together on this. So there is Daanty's 4th dungeon, first pendant. AceZero about to get his mirror off of Landmolus, and Azder's going to give Shack Tool their clear of the Moth.
Yeah, and this being Azder's 4th... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, you're good.
I was going to say, this being their Azder's 4th crystal, this is putting him in a really, really good position as far as soon as you get that hammer, or as soon as you get that ether, you know where your next play is.
Yeah, like, whereas PUGS is going for the same play of Eastern at the same time, Azder's able to just couple Eastern and Pod together now. Instead of this extra trip into this area. So not great timing, unfortunately, there.
Yeah, and we are finally, this is Graveyard Ledge here that we're going to be seeing from Daaanty. So, kind of one-off mirror check number 1 incoming.
Yeah, and at least the other way we've got Bombos and K45 for them, but yeah, it's not fun. Well, did you watch the Armos kill?
Uh-huh.
I mean, you and I play some NMG. What's that?
It's the Yuzu strat. The Yuzuhara strat, I think.
By the way, did you see what item we had on pedestal?
No.
It's your favorite.
Is it half magic?
Yeah, we're not getting half magic today, folks.
Oh man. No, that's fine. They don't need it. They have tempered sword. They have 7,000 bottles.
They've got red mail.
They have red mail.
We are going to see the Zora check from Eri before going into ice, but looks like... Okay, so Azder's going to make the same call as well. They're both going to knock out Zora.
Ooh. Daaanty giving us the loss of portal magic bat.
Well, I think we did get that on Shack Tool as well, so we know this isn't the answer. But I think Daanty's going to cover the other bases real quick.
I mean, at this point, we're what? We're looking for...
I mean, I feel like we're really just...
A45 and Bombos? That's it?
Yeah, that or you're going into Ice Palace, and it looks like Eri's going to do Ice, and Daanty's going to hit the others. So we're going to have an answer soon.
Yeah, this is a good point. And Tracy bringing up a good point in chat, too. Like, yes, we are Ether and Bombos, as well as Hammer from Go, but because Turtle Rock is a pendant, Bombos could very easily be just sitting inside of GT.
I mean, is that a bad thing in this seed? Like, I get the problem, but, like, I don't know, knowing I don't have to clear our TR for anything, and I get a Go mode TR, might be a... Like, I want Ether first.
I mean...
Let me put it that way. Like, I want to see Ether before I see Bombos right now.
Of course. But I will say that, like, Go mode TR is...
It's not better. It really isn't.
It's really not that much better. Like, you get to steal a Poke Key and you get to skip the lava chest. Like, woo. You know?
Okay, K45 is dead.
Oh,
Coming down to Bombos, first chest of Swamp, and somewhere in Ice, and Eri's going to go with the Icebreaker.
I mean, you have mirror. I don't hate
Yeah.
this. You grab this one chest, and then
And he
you
gets
can
a
grab
small
this big
key, so
chest.
really nice.
Yeah,
Like
not
that's a
punish.
perfect. That's what you want out of ice if you're doing this kind of play.
Yeah.
And Bombo's
And there's
tablet. What do
Ether.
we got? Heart container on Bombo. So yeah, it looks like at least this is a required ice dip.
I mean, yeah, at this point, I imagine we'll just go ahead and see Daaanty go ahead and do this first chest of Swamp Palace, but that Ether is looking like our major progression in Ice Palace here.
Yeah, we've still got iced tea and one item left here in the dungeon.
Love the music switch. I wasn't ready for it.
Yeah.
It is quite loud though. Yeah. Woo.
But yeah, Meyer's going to be the play now.
What do we have first chest of Swamp? Oh, it's the hammer! What? Wow.
Okay.
How gross, dude.
So, Daanty's going to be our only runner who doesn't have to double dip Ice Palace.
Yeah, wow. I mean, and this is why you don't just leave. Like, you don't finish what you're doing, or you finish out what you're doing really quickly. You don't just bail on your plan. Like,
and I think especially in this case, like, what was Daaanty going to do? Like, go get Ether and then just follow directly into Meyer? Like, I think there's a lot of logic here just saying, hey, Eri, do what you're doing. Find the Meyer big.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot to do.
Gosh, this worked out really, really nicely, yeah, for PUGS.
Oh, and we're in GT mode.
Oh, gosh, yeah. We absolutely are.
You know, we said that was a possibility, and here it's come to us. And we have a Godmire.
That we're not taking because still looking for bombos.
Well, and then the question is, how much do you want to skip? Like, are we skipping left side? Are we, you know, are you really going to do cutscene chest?
Oh, man.
Then there's our first item.
Yeah, and at this point, yeah, I'm not surprised to see Eri going ahead and making the gamble of the last item just being on Viddy. But I don't believe that's possible. I believe Viddy has to have a small key. Having gotten an item as well as a big key, I'm pretty sure Viddy or the big chest, one of them has to have a small key. And it's possible both of them do.
Yeah. And the unfortunate side here for Shacktool is just, you know, both runners being into Meyer at the same time. You know, there's not that diversity of checks being able to happen right now.
Right.
So, you know, they're kind of in lockstep right now, and there's no way out of it because, like, to them, like, this is the play.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. Like, why go into... Oh, that was so close on Daaanty's side. So close.
Yeah, really nice phase one of Argus going there. Meanwhile, Eri is going to give us Viddy, and really nice zero cycle as well. So that's 2 more dungeons on Pug's side. And AceZero is going to take the Godmire here. Azder's going to do at least a little bit more of the dungeon, but also just heading for the back, so...
Well, and Azder found the second item at Torches with Mushroom. So, hello, Fed quests.
Yeah, that could be huge. Like, if you're hoping or you know, if you have a rooting interest in this, there's your out for Shack Tool. Like, that is the clear out check. And meanwhile, so like, Daaanty's gonna check that shovel just for bombs, and Eri skipped out on the mushroom. So, yep, and left side. So like,
Eri's rushing that hammer. That this is
Daaanty?
the only way that's nice in.
Daaanty forgot he needed to go to ice first.
Yeah, that was just a moment. These happen. These happen.
You're like, I know what I need to do.
I'll say here on AceZero's side, getting a little spooky with the eyes here. Regardless of your mail, the goo on the floor still does 1 heart of damage until the big eye is exploding. So it's a bit spooky.
Yeah, very scary.
Yeah, and good cleanup on Azder's side of the Vidi fight as well. I have to imagine we'll see Azder going to turn in that mushroom as soon as possible. Ace bailing, though, before any kind of knowledge.
Yeah, I wouldn't go back in. I think this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like, I think they know, like, there's something on the chain here of, you know, he's gonna hit K45 and Bombos into Swamp.
Right. And honestly, this is fine too, because they know even if Mushroom is Bombos, it does nothing for them, because Hammer is required to be able to get into TR.
You know, this is gonna sound a little bit crazy, but the whole play of Eri having done the Smith chain without Mirror really helped, and it's just a bug net off of the mushroom. So yeah, not the answer. Team Pugs of, you know, dodging that bullet there.
Yeah, that works out really, really nicely, honestly. Shoo! For Pugs, like that is a good dodge. Although I didn't see, because looking in other places, I didn't get a chance to see what was in the H-room chest. It does look like Eri is going to hit up left side here. Oh, H-room was map. Thank you, Ikir. Good old vanilla map.
Yeah, and here's that continued divide for Shack Tool. You know, AceZero is going to be the first in a swamp. Azder is going to hit up Graveyard Ledge. And, you know, they both know at this point, like, if it's not Graveyard Ledge, it's Swamp, and we got to go into Swamp. But yeah, like, Eri having done the Smith chain earlier just meant that when, you know, Daanty's making that play, he's able to powder or mirror for the powder check and not worry about it afterwards. Like, he can just continue on.
Right. Well, and the thing here too is this is the time when Ace can pick up that ice rod also. Because yeah, there it sits.
So we got Burna on left side. And a big key.
Oh, Spike Cave is an option also.
Yeah, but at this point, like, I don't think we play for Spike Cave. Like, I think you're, like, crystal clears and into GT.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Oh man, that's
just to give kind of the update on the dungeon counts here specifically: 6 dungeons for Daaanty, 5 for Ace, 5 for Eri, and 5 for Azder. So like, but I will say it looks like Team Pugs is going to be a little bit even more ahead. Like, Eri's almost done dungeon 6. Whereas Azder and Ace are just entering Swamp, so like, very clear distinct there, and Daanty's almost done his 7.
Now, in regards to that, Azder's going to be able to combo Pod and Eastern very, very easily. And Ace will be able to just Hera Pot up with that, like right before GT, so that won't be too bad. Whereas on PUG's side, they have to do a little bit extra kind of fluting around to say, like, to put it best.
Well, yeah, and I think the only thing there is, like, I think Azder's going to have a full Eastern.
True.
I don't think he's been in the dungeon yet.
No, and
But-
it is a vanilla big key, so it is kind of the worst case scenario there.
Yeah, it does look like Daaanty is skipping the rest of Meyer as well. So they might not even care about that second item, that mushroom.
No, I bet at this point they're just thinking play for GT. Like finish off Ice, finish off Pod, and just get to GT.
Ooh, although we are going to get a Pyramid Fairy from Eri. Hadn't even thought about that one. He's got both 5/6s.
didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't consider this at all. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. This is a thought as well.
And realistically, this is a nice one to get. You got Agate dead, and yep. Good old bomb dupe. But
That is
Adam-
that.
there we go. Our dungeon number 7 for Daaanty. Meanwhile, AceZero getting through phase 1 of Argus. Azder almost to Argus. Pyramid
And
Fairy, just
Pyramid
some money
Fairy.
and a heart.
Yep, so nothing. I shouldn't say nothing, but nothing that we are looking for in particular at this point.
Yeah.
And off to Ice, there he goes. Ice or Pod.
You're right. I think if you were doing Ice, you probably would have mirrored. So yeah, this is going to be the pod to clean up. Whereas Daanty's looking for... Is this hammer pegs, I guess, before a skull?
Yeah, I can get behind this as far as just finishing off these one-offs when you're just in the area to do them. There's not going to be a better time to do this, and if this is the answer, then great. But it limits what you're having to search after GT for. And that's a negative.
Yeah, this looks like it's going to be GT has it. I mean, worst case, it's Spike Cave, and I don't know what brings you to Spike Cave.
Yeah, because even trying to do it before the climb is not ideal.
Right. If you tell me I've got 7 crystals, sorry, I'm going into GT. I'm not worrying about Spike.
Well, when you got, 22, 23, if you count the big chest,
Yeah, even just the
locations
basement's
that
better.
are ideal. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to do Spike Cave, here's my thought on it. If you do Spike Cave, you do Spike Cave before you get to the climb.
Yes.
You do it, then you save and quit at the old man and just start from there. But they've also done Aga, so it's not ideal still.
Yeah, that's an annoying kind of start.
Yeah. Like, there just really isn't a great time to do it. Eri would have actually the best chance to do it with doing Spike Cave and then leaving to do Hera.
Yeah, it's just not great getting back out of Spike Cave with low health and, only 1 magic bar. But here we go, our first Helmasaur fight today.
Looks like we did get the spin speed set up. No, just kidding.
It's going for swords.
I lied. Just Just some nice hammer hits without the sword extension. Who needs it? Oh no. Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh, crud.
Azder did not have the pod money, so he's gonna do Eastern first, probably hit up that rupee room in the back.
Yeah, and just short, 6 rupees. Oh.
And what is happening on
I think
on
Ace
Ace's side?
not enough magic.
I guess not. Yeah, we're not actually in Go mode specifically yet. We are in GT mode, meaning our last item that we need, aka the Bombos medallion to get into Turtle Rock, can be in GT. Sorry, words are hard.
Yeah. And what we are seeing is a little bit of, I don't want to say it's a surprise, but Aries actually rushing the mountain here. He's going to skip his pendant ice play, or his pendant ice clear, just to go take down Moldorm and get into GT faster. I think realistically, Daanty's still got quite the edge, and I don't know if you really need him in there with you. Like,
no, I honestly think that this works out though, because it's keeping Daaanty with that edge, right? Like Aerie doing this, like Ice Palace is not like super fast, but getting to Cold Stare, you know, decently quick it works out. I think for these guys, this actually works out because Aerie will be able to figure all this out, and he'll be able to say, is it Spike Cave, before Daaanty has to worry about it ideally.
The only thing I guess I just disagree is, like, I don't know if I want the person who's behind to be the one forging ahead in the unknown at this point. That's fair. Like, I don't know if I'm a big fan of having the gap between my front runner here and my follower growing, as my follower has to be the one to forge ahead in GT.
Well, and maybe that's the thought here, is like, if the front runner is far enough ahead, which, I mean, obviously these guys don't know where Shock Tool is, but maybe the thought is, if they're far enough ahead, then that will help our average, but at the same time, then that's putting your second runner behind more. I don't know. Like, I don't know if there's really a good answer, but when it comes to this, I see this thought, and I like this thought, because again, if the answer is Spike Cave, Aerie's going to know sooner.
True.
And be able to tell Daaanty, hey, get Spike Cave first, then go to TR.
Yep, and here we go. Aerie is our first runner into Ganon's Tower. He'll still have ice afterwards. Meanwhile, Azder has just taken down Eastern, does have the money now for Pod, going to be able to take down, head into there. And then probably also leaves Ice and TR, so, you know, if you're just going across from left to right here, you know, Aries up on Azder, the Pod clear, whereas Daaanty is pretty much right in line with AceZero, but has the Hera clear as well. So, you know, you can see this advantage starting to form over on PUGS.
Yeah, and I would say that this has been an advantage that throughout the race has been flip-flopping for sure.
Yeah, this isn't... it's only really this is the divide that happened with Ice and Swamp.
Yeah, absolutely.
Daaanty making the play to check Swamp first paid massive dividends.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so no big key. We did see Aerie go ahead and do the, as we would call it, the DM route, starting in Stalfos Room and heading over to Compass Room from there. Getting 3 small keys plus the 4th in the pot, so we'll see here. Compass room still nothing.
Yeah, also
So
nothing there. So we'll see how.
shoot.
And this looks like Daaanty might hit. Yeah, this looks like Spike Cave from Daaanty.
I do kind of like this also, honestly, and maybe this was the thought all along. The big question is, will Daaanty run out of here or just take the save and quit to the pyramid?
I think you're taking the save and quit, unfortunately.
There
Oh
it
my
is.
gosh, wow. And here's the thing, for Eri, like, this becomes a finish finding your big key, mirror out, go to Spike Cave, and then just proceed from there.
Yeah, this works out really nicely for Eri. This is, yeah, wow. Again, this is showing like that split, that divergence from your partner.
This is showing why bedrocks are terrible.
Dude. The absolute worst.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's, like... Shack 2's been thorough, and they're still making sure to be thorough here towards the end, so maybe one of them hits Spike Cave.
Right. We still don't have that big key. Wow.
Yeah, big key is buried as well, so... Whew. Worst case here for Shack Tool is somebody begins climbing GT, honestly.
Yeah. But it does look like Ace is going to make that that Spike Cave play here. Now I don't know if this is going to be Hera into Spike, but this will... Yeah, okay. This works out for Shack Tool then. This is best case scenario. Alright, so we've got Daaanty going into his last non-GT dungeon. He'll be able to drop right into Ganon after finishing up GT, of which Eri will have the small key, or the big key figured out. There it is, vanilla. And a butter sword. Well... Yep. Eri gonna hop on down here, get his bombos, and I can see Eri, honestly, just potentially going ahead and saying, I'm gonna follow you to TR. It's possible he does Ice first to give Daaanty time to find that big key.
I think Dante's far enough ahead into the TR play that it doesn't matter, though.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought. But it is a potential here. I'm not certain.
He doesn't have great magic, though, honestly.
Oh, I see what Azder's doing. Azder's picking up that cape.
Oh, yeah. And our other invincibility item was Left Side Swamp, and neither member of Shack Tool did that.
Right.
Wouldn't have thought that would have mattered, but yeah. Eri finding Berna kind of helped him.
Yeah, honestly. Saved him from dipping that back of swamp there, or back of escape, forgive me.
And you were right, Leo. Eri gonna take out Ice Palace first.
Ooh, this health situation's a little monka for Daaanty, but
there's plenty of anti-fairies in here.
No, what? Why?
I'm sorry. I should have stopped talking.
It's okay, he has a fairy, whatever. He's fine. That was definitely a moment of like, what are we doing? Alrighty, but yeah, Eri finishing up Ice Palace. Smooth cut through that ice. I believe... oh gosh, I've not been paying attention to keys. I know we're down a small key, but with the way Daaanty's moving, we found the big key.
Yeah.
Good Waffle House drive-thru on Azder's side there. Yeah, and at this point, you guys, this is very much, you know, with all the knowledge that PUGS have, I'm gonna kind of go on a limb here and say that it's not just PUGS in the advantage, but like I would say it's a strong enough advantage, but that's nothing to say that, you know, weird things happen. Like,
yeah,
there's never a guarantee in this game. But oof, if something does happen. Alright, so we do have Ace in Lava Chest Room. We've got Eri finishing off Ice, going to be mirroring fluting up to Turtle Rock to finish his last dungeon. Daaanty did get a small key from Crystal Roller Room, meaning he can skip Laser Bridge.
and yeah, there's just no reason to even check anything.
No. And he also got the
Tempered Sword is
information.
plenty.
Yeah, he got the information about the big chest too, just in case for Eri, to potentially be able to skip all the pipes nonsense and just grab that key instead, but it was just a heart container.
I mean, clearly we needed health.
Right.
Red mail's not enough.
No. Azder not doing ice beforehand, this will be fine. What will end up happening is after Azder beats GT, he'll mirror flute to ice, take care of it then, and then because they have defeated Aga, if they save and quit with the mirror, it just puts them right back up on to the pyramid. So it'll be mirror after GT and landing on the pyramid, flute to 8, beat ice, save and quit while still in the dark world, and then boom, you're right back on the pyramid.
Yeah, exactly. Easy finish here.
Mm-hmm.
One of those things you don't get to see too frequently, just with how quick the or how we don't do a lot of all dungeons modes.
Yeah, it is kind of nice though that there is that little bit of I don't want to say quality of life, but you know, it is in a way. Ace having some time with the cane dash, if you will, there. It can depend on whether it's a little faster or not. Now that Azder, like, the situation for PUGS was a bit different. Daaanty was still finding the layout of the dungeon, whereas on Shaktool's side, Ace was still kind of mid-dungeon figuring it out. Or, I'm sorry, Ace was further along than Daaanty was at the time. Words are hard. And so it's easier for Azder to follow in and know where everything is already for Shaktool's side.
Yeah, this is one of those things you really like. What you don't see in this race is the time that goes into kind of discovering this portion of how to play. You know, understanding your partner and how long it takes to roughly do things. I don't want to call it luck at times, but sometimes there's just this element of we hit the right spots at the right times as each other to make some things just flow a little better. And it's really hard to line it up. So, like, you're seeing some of that communication come through without having, you know, seen the practice that did happen up to this point.
I had totally forgotten that Ace still needed to do Hera.
Yeah, I mean, that's an easy one to forget.
It is, but then this also means that there's going to be a lot closer of a time for Shocktool's Digging Him to be in GT. They're going to split it a bit better than PUGS did, but at the same time, it could mean...
Yeah, unfortunately, it's just such a super deep GT big.
Right.
Splits work great when there's actually a way to split. This is just, here it is at the end.
Today I learned you could key dash that roller room after the Pokies kill room in TR. Okay.
I mean, it makes sense.
It does, but also I was not ready for it. Well, snap. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all, Malmo. That, you know, the fact that Eri got the God Pokies, because that is the same super tile, like that roller's already moving in that next room. All right, so we've got Ace going into GT. We've got Daaanty on his climb. Aries getting ready to cross the platform bridge to Trinex. Azder is on Trinex, about to do phase 2 here.
Yeah, and like you're kind of seeing the two runners, the bottom two runners for each team here are roughly, I would say, each clearly behind their partners here. And you're seeing what kind of advantage Eri's going to have at this moment. You know, Eri has the ice clear over Azder as well as the GT pick key. So there's a lot of room here for PUGS.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though Daaanty and Ace are both already in GT, Ace is hunting down that big key, whereas Daaanty is already roughly halfway done with his climb, about to go up for the Wizrobes rooms and then torches. Jesse.
Hello.
If you're PUGS with a butter sword and red mail, do you bother opening anything for silvers?
No.
Okay.
And this isn't even if I'm PUGS. Like, this is just me as a runner. Like, I don't think you open anything.
Good, I was gonna judge you if your answer was yes. Not really. But yeah, I would have judged you.
I mean, let's be honest, sometimes you open something.
Ooh, okay. Can we talk really quickly about that slightly Monka
Perfectly planned. Daaanty knew how much magic he had. I'm sure if you ask him, he'll be like, I planned that extra fire rod shot. It wasn't a mistake.
This is fine. All right, Daaanty, are you just going to swag hover for us, or are you going to actually kill the thing?
He is going to kill the thing.
Wow. Are we going to get Moldarm's last possession? We are.
We are, and it's only 10 arrows. So, Leo, where are the silvers?
Laser Bridge.
Okay, so we're gonna get a TR message.
I think so, because what else do you have? You have a little bit of GT. I mean, I think it's equally possible that it's GT.
Yeah, it's GT or TR with a light exception to Death Mountain for Mimic. I think those are our only checks left.
Yeah. Because we know it's on Ped. It's not Ped. We know it's at Mushroom Turn-In. It's not Mushroom Turn-In. We know it's at dig spot. It's not dig spot. Incoming moment of truth. All right, so Ace and Azder pretty much getting their big keys back to back from each other here. Both of them picking up that butter sword. Thank you for calling. Thank you for that.
I just gotta say, Eri checking the top of GT.
Any comment I made about judgment is totally invalid, and it's only reserved for Jesse. Oh no, I only judge Jesse. That's a weird will. I leave my last possession to whoever violently murders me.
Oh man. Oh, but we've got Daaanty on the Ganon fight with Buttersword. This is a formality, of course. Eri also killing off Moldorm today.
Yeah, now he has to open it. Oh, oh. Hey, I called it!
I mean, there weren't many options left after seeing Eri.
I mean, fair. It still could have been Tile Room or GT Big Chest. Big yay, Laser Bridge.
But Daaanty just proceeding right along with his spins. Pretty straightforward fight right now. Meanwhile, Ares is just taking down Aga 2, so going to be entering his Ganon fight. Meanwhile, AceZero on his climb, just finishing off Lanmo 2, will be able to, of course, drop into Ganon right after his GT climb. But get your GGs in chat for Daaanty. Just has that good old bridge to cross.
And with that, Daaanty has finished with a race time GG time of 1:25.51. So GG's in chat for Daaanty. We will see what happens with Ares' fight here. As of right now, the expectation is that he is going to finish this off before Azder and AceZero can get there. But again, you never know what happens. Weird things happen on Ganon all the time. Yes, it's airy, I'm aware, but also still.
Yeah, so
never counting chickens before they hatch.
And of course, as a reminder, Azder will have to go to Ice Palace as soon as he finishes off Aga 2. Needs to get his last pendant as well.
Oh, that's a good point. I had definitely forgotten that Azder still needed to beat Ice Palace here.
Yeah, and one of the things, we do want to mention is, like, if you missed this race and are wondering how did this kind of difference occur, the race really was pretty even up to almost an hour, I'd say. It's just the big difference occurred when they were pretty much running out of locations for the hammer. AceZero and Azder both go into Ice Palace at the same time and get Ether Medallions, sending them both to Myra at the same time, whereas PUGS takes the Divergence and says, hey, Daaanty, go figure out, hit Bombos, hit K45, I'll hit Ice. And Daaanty ends at Swamp Palace and gets a hammer in the second chest.
Yeah, I'll be curious to ask both of the teams their thoughts on, like, co-op in general and divvying up resources and things like that, as we see Eri with the sword up and going to cross that 3x1 bridge, finishing with a race time GG time of 1:27.44, securing victory for PUGS in this game 2 of Co-op All Dungeons.
Yep. And we are immediately joined by Daaanty and Eri. GG's, guys.
GG's.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, thanks. GG.
So, a couple of things that we did want to ask about here. First off, Eri, please don't watch the commentary, or don't listen to the commentary during Daanty's climb, and then yours. I said some things about checking the top chests that are totally irrelevant to you and only relevant to Jesse. Just throwing that out there about checking your silvers with butter.
Okay. Okay, we'll ignore that.
No, just ignore it. It's nothing about you. But what this kind of really boiled down to was you two kind of divvying up when it came to the swamp dip and the ice dip. So will you guys talk us through kind of what your discussions were at that point?
It really was like, okay, so we have these two things. Should I do it? Should you do it? You know what? I'll just do Zora and then Ice. Wait, but you're there. No, I'm still gonna do it. It was very chaotic. We
The plan changed in 30 seconds, maybe 10 times. Who's going to Ice? Who's gonna do Graveyard Ledge? And then I didn't really have I wasn't even thinking about Swamp. And then we did that, and Aries, like, I think at that point he was either near Zora or leaving Zora for Ice. And I said, well, I'm just gonna take this portal and I'm going down to Swamp. But the hammer's in Ice. Like, I said that at least twice. I was like, the hammer's in Ice at this point. And then I pulled the hammer and I laughed and said something along the lines of, Boyne would get like a 105 on this playing by himself. So,
No, I want to say, that diversion that you guys had, like, I want to say one of the few times you guys really converged together was like a tower. And so that divergence between you two really kind of made the difference here. As far as co-op goes, is that something you guys try to focus on, or are there times where you feel like it's best to converge at the same place? Like, what is kind of your strategy, your thought process with that?
it's difficult. Yeah, I mean, co-op is just really difficult because there's like no real established meta, just because it's not raised as much.
Right.
But it's a mix of making sure one person doesn't fall too far behind and making sure that we're still able to do things efficiently. So, like things like boots, mirror, like dark world access, sometimes you just need to have some overlap before you can actually properly divide stuff up. And yeah, in one seed it's a lot easier than in the other, obviously.
Right. I do want to mention AceZero finished up with a 130.30 and is also joining us here in the booth. GG, AceZero.
Yeah, GG's Ace.
Thanks,
As
GG.
well as you're watching Azder finish, he is also joining us here in the booth. GG.
Hey, GG.
GG's, guys.
GG's.
Yeah, we were talking with Pugs about, that swamp hammer and that kind of divergence between the two of them being kind of the I don't want to say end all be all, but like what kind of made the seed work out for them. Whereas Shaktul, you guys kind of had a bit more willingness to be in the same dungeon but doing different things within the dungeon to help each other out. So we were kind of talking about, like, do you guys have like a thought process, or I guess a philosophy when it comes to co-op and divvying up checks and things like that?
I felt like we needed to make a play in the matchup, and like how few things we managed to skip so far. So I wanted to like go. It was like really bad kind of. Do you go ice or do you follow K45 on the swamp? And I wanted to go double or nothing on the one I felt was better for us to like save that time for the other player, because I felt like that was something we needed with how this match was going, and it wasn't the answer, and that ended up being really bad. But I felt like the risk was worth taking. Although now that I think about it, I had an Eastern I could have done to mitigate a time loss from that, but I didn't want to go there without Hammer, and like we knew Hammer had to be down to a few spots, so it might have been smarter for me to actually do Eastern during that time instead. But well,
I think it's hard to I think it's hard to say I should have done or I should have done, because when it comes down to it, you knew what you were looking for, and I think at that point you couldn't have done pod yet either. So in your mind, I could see where it's Ace has already done Eastern, that there's nothing really there. Yeah, that time could have been split, but at the same time, finding Ether, in this scene in particular, finding Ether, that's just going to push Ace to Meyer, and then you're still kind of following. So I don't hate the both being in ice on that mindset. And Daaanty was saying not long before you joined, how many times had he said, Hammer's just going to be in ice, Hammer's just going to be in ice. It's absolutely, absolutely a fair call in both mindsets, I would say.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I felt like it was a particularly difficult seed throughout as well. We've done a couple of practice seeds, obviously, and I felt that the divvying up of what to do was a lot easier in those compared to this one. Also with I don't know, just the whole layout and the late hammer. Whenever you have mid-start world access, I feel it's a lot trickier to properly route things in and not have isolated spots depending on a later mirror, for example. It was really rough.
Yeah, when you're go for it.
It was an interesting seed. I enjoyed it. There were a lot of facets of it that were up for discussion. So even though it was difficult, I thought that was part of the fun of it. There are some seeds that are just a mess in co-op that I find not fun, but I found this one to be okay.
Yeah, there's definitely this one had some of those spots where we're just you have to follow each other to an extent, and then you have an A or B choice, and then at that point you split up. But down the stretch it was I was expecting to just join Airy and Ice, and then the hammer showed up. That was this kind of okay. I actually kind of thought, I said, I said this to Airy, and I said, Azder sometimes will make a play, and it works sometimes. And I'm like, he may have this hammer already. And there was one point while I think I was in TR or Ganon's Tower, Airy groaned about something. I think he made a mistake or something. And I was like, did they finish? I got a little concerned there at that moment.
I'm glad that you guys were nervous against someone who's pretty bad at co-op. But, yeah, I did try to make some of those plays. They just weren't the ones that worked. Actually, one particularly dumb thing was I kind of autopiloted. We ended up both doing GT left side, and we got saved by where Big Key was. But I realized it was a pretty big mistake after I started doing it, and we just kind of both had to. I just kind of had to commit to that. So oh well.
Did either of you consider doing Aga in the dark after you found Boots' message?
I did not at all.
No.
I mean, with no fire rod, I mean, the fire source is pretty huge in general anyway, so that didn't even cross my mind. Especially with the hearts available, in a co-op, you're not going to have 9 hearts probably doing it, and I would have died.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I was a little afraid that either of you may have felt confident enough to do it, because it wasn't that the lamp was super deep, but Aga was available so early that it felt a bit tricky.
Still a corner to cut, for sure. But also it wasn't the best dark world access. Even with before the glove showed up, Azder had to swim over, and that's a little bit slower. The glove means you can't do catfish, no mirror to do the checks that are on the way, no fire rod for Skull Woods. You still might be leaving a lot of things behind there. So
yeah, that's fair.
Especially in all dungeons, I don't know. All dungeons co-op is really hard because both those things make me want to be more thorough personally. But then playing against you guys, you're both just so good that we can't be thorough. And as you mentioned earlier, the play into both of us doing Ice Palace is kind of a result of that. We were pretty thorough up to that point, We checked we mirrored to check Magic Bat. We went to Catfish, like some of the slow bad checks. And
That was
we-
like out of necessity to split up. I didn't want to be thorough in the seed, but we kind of had to.
Yeah, it was definitely the way the seed was laid out as well. That's very true. But it was very interesting, and yeah.
we probably should have. I know Azder mentioned it before. We both like were on top of each other going into Thieves Town, and I probably should have left and done MITS checks first, since those became available, and like maybe not both done Thieves Town hammerless. That could have given us more opportunity later to continue to be like, divergent paths. But
We actually, that Thieves Town that we did at the same time honestly worked out very, very well. I don't think we really lost any time.
yeah, with the small key where it was, but it was a risk, and I mean it could have been something just like the Eastern Palace where like one of us just did it later while the other person was checking the bad things, so we weren't both checking different bad things at the same time. Which sounds like what you guys did with your ice and swamp dips.
Yeah, it was either where we were in the seed. It was after I did Bombos, I went into Swamp. He had just gotten Ether, so we were talking about, okay, you need to go straight to Mire unless Hammer shows up, and then those were the last two checks that we had. The only thing we didn't check in the overworld after Hammer or a dungeon was the second item in Mire. We both decided that'll be our one skip. And then I was making sure to notate on the tracker, like, okay, what is left and what is not left, just in case we have to run back there. And like, I was actually, I was considering skipping Spike Cave, but at that point I was like, we've done literally the entire overworld. I should do this. And luckily, it was there, because I think Eri might have started climbing and checking chests up top, and that probably would have been much more of a time loss.
You
I mean,
missed out
that's
on a
true.
mushroom in Mire.
Tragic.
Oh,
Very.
some more time
mushroom
loss.
The mushroom was kind of awkward too, because it was like, as soon as I found it, Ace was like on the way to Vidi. We knew both items in Mire at that point, because he went straight to the boss and I didn't, to split up. And I was like, it was awkward because I didn't want Ace to commit to the mushroom until I was able to check it. But then he's kind of like, that's our only out for like Hammer being along this chain. Otherwise, like double Ace burned us.
Yeah, it could have been a much more Monka situation, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't that where the bug net was, so it wasn't that big of a burn, thankfully.
Well, like it was a burn in that ice
In the sense of
was
the
incorrect,
time,
and we
right.
didn't find out for a long time.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he did. I checked it in time that because I just told Ace to go back for it later once we need it and like do the swamp path first, and I would know by now whether it paid out. There's a lot of complicated ideas like that you have to weigh in this, and I'm not super good at like actually executing, doing the right things in the game when I'm trying to do that.
Talking and thinking and playing the video game are three very, like, as it is, like, difficult things on their own, but then putting all three of them together and not just talking about the video game, but communicating this is where this is specifically to your partner, like, it can be a lot. So I feel you on that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Nothing's more difficult than giving your A game during rando. Like, execution-wise, there's just so much more
Right?
going on.
So I guess then moving forward here, are you guys looking forward to week 2 in Brosia week?
I'm looking
I
forward to
am.
playing solo.
I am. Yeah.
It's not a knock against Ace or anything, but I function a lot better by myself.
I mean, same.
That's fair.
I'm looking forward to kicking my feet up and watching Ari and Andy play.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, I'm not.
You don't know how that feels.
Hey, look, I resemble that remark.
I'm looking forward to it. It's a pretty fun mode. It's very different, but it's a bit more volatile than I personally would like. but there is a lot going on that make inverted routing wise a lot more bearable than it would be in without big key shuffle. So it should be good.
Yeah. Inversion is the one week that Hitaka said he was absolutely saying hard no to.
That's fair.
I started doing it.
I almost feel like we all kind of have like, and maybe I'm just talking out of my rear end here, but I feel like we all kind of have that one mode with this set of modes that we're all just like, yeah, that's gonna be a no. Well, with that, Jesse, I feel like I've been kind of dominating the interviews here. Do you have anything that you want to add or ask?
I mean, I'm willing to just leave it to the runners if they have anything else to say. I know Ace was looking to get into an SMZ3 at the top of the hour, so, does any comments before, we kind of let you all go?
Yeah, I have an MMG weekly coming up, so I need to quit soon as well. But thank you so much for the raise.
Right. Happy weekly.
Yeah. But
Yes.
Yeah. GG's again. Thanks, guys.
yeah.
Appreciate it.
GG's.
Super competent, so it was very fun races to look forward to. And good luck on the coming weeks.
Thanks. Same to you.